What up with y'all, man? It's the mental ninja. Of course, you know that, right? What up with y'all, man? What the fuck? It's the mental ninja. Of course, you know that, right? I got this shit back to play. I hope my audio good. I can't hear myself and shit. Well, I just heard myself. Guess I'm gonna wait for a few minutes, let everybody, people fill up, whatever. If they do or if they don't. Hope you like my little flat earth thing. That was a gift, that was like 3 or 4 years ago, man. My girl got it for me, man. She's the only person that was like, she ain't a flat earther and shit, but like she was open to the idea and shit, you know what I'm saying? And so she found that for me and got it for me. But yeah, man, today I just want to talk about, like, of course, the heading is what's your motive and shit, man. And like when I mean that, it could be anything, bro. What's like your motive in life? You know what I'm saying? Do you have a motive? What are your goals? What things that you were looking to work towards and shit? How do you want to improve yourself? You know what I'm saying? What's the meaning of life? Why are you here? What is here? Is there another where, some other places we can go and shit like that? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a very broad, all around type thing and shit, you know what I'm saying? But like honestly, with the what's your motive? First, I'm just gonna drop it off on some YouTube shit, man. Like if I come, for me, I'll speak for myself, right? If I come to somebody's panel or somebody's live stream and stuff, right? And I'm not really trying to come up in there to be on some fucking weirdo shit. I really ain't. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna come up there and harass the motherfucking the person who's conducting or hosting the live and shit, which I see that happen quite a few times and stuff. And yeah, we got the troll thing, but like, you know what? If you a regular, right, and every time they go live or this person goes live and shit, you hop on and you want some, we don't know what to expect from you. Like you might be cool one day, the next day you might not be cool. That's not really cool and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of cool to be like, not presentable in that sense, but like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, what up, Matt? No. Hey, look, so I'm gonna drop the link. If anybody wants to join up on the panel, this is the link right here. I don't even know if you're a real person. You know what I'm saying? But hey, this YouTube and shit. Like I know people in real life that ain't even real people. Just to be honest with that, But like, yeah, so like when somebody like, okay, let's say I'm doing this live stream, right? And I invite people to come up and they come up and we building about this, we talking about this. Usually it's best for me that it's always going to be like an open retort. Like I'm not going to trip on you and shit. I'm not going to slander you, call you names like that, like just outright. If you come on some weirdo shit, I might fuck with you. I might get combative and stuff. You know what I'm saying? For the spirit of battle, right? But when I come on people chats and stuff, they live streams and stuff, man, it ain't gonna be. Hold up, who this is? Let me add this man to stream.
What up, man?
What up? Who that is? What you got going on there?
Some cannabis, man. I'm in Canada. It's legal, though, if anyone's wondering. It's all legal. You know what I mean?
Oh, but yeah. Where you at? Who this is?
I'm in Canada. I'm Matt. Matt, no, on the thing. I just randomly found you, hopped on here. Here's an extra one, too.
Oh.
More here.
No. Yeah, bro, I'm out here in Vegas, man. That shit been legal for a minute, and I know y'all probably had it legal for a while, too, out there.
Yeah, over here it's federally legal. So it's legal across the whole board. It's not just some states are legal and shit. It's all legal. You know what I mean?
So that's what's up. Yeah, that's crazy. I had quit smoking weed. I quit doing everything like shit 3.5 years ago, right? And as soon as I quit, man, they legalized that shit like that summer. I was kind of like, damn, nigga, I didn't quit smoking. Now this shit legal. I can't go to jail for having it. I can't go to jail for buying it. That shit crazy.
I know. It still feels weird now it's legal, you know? It's weird. Well, I have a license for a medical license. So I'm allowed to grow like 140 plants, so 146 plants.
That's
Right.
dope. I'm
And
hoping
I was
like
thinking,
I'm hoping eventually, you know what I'm saying, they'll get to like, erase some of my criminal history because it's legal and shit. Even though it wasn't legal then, I got possession and delivery of marijuana in Florida and shit. I'm like, man, but Florida still ain't legalized it yet, so that might be why.
I
Take that
got
shot.
caught up. Got caught up. Oh fuck. Yeah, yeah. I heard for things like that, they are gonna be doing that. They started doing it in Canada now. If you have like possession charges or anything like that, not for selling it. If you're selling it, I think that stays on your record. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
like
kind of weird. Go ahead, go ahead.
over here, like you get a license with the federal government and how that and like if you have any charges of any drug selling or any weed selling or anything, you can't get it. You can't grow it. But everyone's allowed to grow 4 plants legally in Canada, like everywhere in Canada. But if you have a license, you can grow way more, like a medical license.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, how they got me was like they got me like I had fucking middleman some weed for a friend, for a homie actually. He wasn't even my homie. So from a nigga I knew to somebody else, and it ended up be the person that was buying the weed ended up being like an undercover cop and shit, and the other dude that connected me
What?
with him. It was some other shit, man. And so they got me for sales, possession, and delivery. I tried to fight it, like, how can I sell it, have it, and still deliver it? Like, you know what I'm saying? So they ended up charging me for uh, delivery and sales. You know what I'm saying? And either way, all three of them have felonies on it and shit.
An undercover? You got sold to an undercover fucking cop for weed? They're out there over that for weed? Toronto.
It was like they were doing like this big roundup. They were like, 'cause the neighborhood I lived in Florida, man, it was kind of like a high profile neighborhood, a lot of trailer parks and shit. So like you had a lot of people selling like pills and crack and meth and all kind of doing all the other shit. And this one dude, man, it was crazy because I like knew this nigga was like a white supremacist, bro. I knew this. I believe this nigga was like a neo-Nazi. He had like the whole planet tattooed in the back of his head. This white dude named Mike. And he came to my job one day. He was like, "Hey man, I got the best weed in Florida." And I'm from Cali, so I'm like, "Yeah, sure." It's back in 2011 or so. I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." And one of my homeboys that worked with me sold weed, so he went back to his house and came back with some weed, and we smoked in the back, and he didn't hit it. Yeah, I didn't really catch it then, but like I came to his house a couple times and we was smoking, and he never hit the weed, but he always asking all these questions about guns and pills and shit. I'm like, "Nigga, I don't know shit about that shit, nigga. I can't get you to that shit." And then one day he hit me up, he's like, "Man, I ain't got no weed. Can you give me some?" I'm like, "I know a guy." And I fucking middleman and shit. And he pulled up with some other dude. He was passenger. He was like, "Yeah, man, this is the weed's for my boy right here, man. So everything's cool." I was like, "Yeah, straight." You know what I'm saying? And then fucking I did it twice, nigga, and both times they logged me for sales, possession, delivery and shit. And like a month later, they just came to my house, nigga, and arrested. Or they came to my job, nigga, and they arrested me and shit.
That's fucked up, man.
That shit, Florida is fucking ruthless, bro. They hella ruthless and shit. But
Over weed? Over weed only? What the fuck?
yeah, it was over some weed because it was like they were like a no tolerance state and shit, zero tolerance and shit. But in the end of the day, for the state, they get money off that shit. They get to fill the jails and shit, and it's illegal. So I mean, under the letter of the law, they good. You know what I'm saying?
That's why they're doing that, because they're making money off that shit. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah, it's entrapment, bro. It's
See,
entrapment.
that's why in Canada, like they fuck around and shit. But over here, I'm in Toronto. You know Toronto, no?
What's
Everyone knows
that?
Toronto. You know Toronto?
Yeah, we know Toronto.
Yeah, that's where I'm from. Obviously, you know Toronto. We won the NBA. We have Drake and shit and all this fucking shit. So, you know what I mean? I'll fuck with Drake. Not everyone from Toronto listens to that shit.
No, he was
But
good
you know,
when he first came out.
I know, but I know it's in your thing. You have the esoteric and shit.
Yeah.
So you know what's funny about Drake? Look at Drake's logo. It's Moloch. You know Moloch, the Canaanite god of the owl, and the people of the Bohemian Grove worship and shit.
Even like with the OVO, right? It's even symbolic of the owl's face and shit. And I don't know
exactly.
and so like, yeah, it's so there's a few different interpretations of the owl, right? And they change over the ages and stuff. And of course, at one time it was Moloch, but Moloch was also known as like this big ass cow looking, nigga and shit, saying
That's
with children.
Baphomet. Baphomet.
Well, see, we gotta think too. Like Baphomet didn't come out until a lot later. Baphomet's kind of relative to the past couple hundred years and shit. Saying, especially the image that we know by Eliphas Levi. Let me show you. Hold up. The image that we got is Eliphas Levi, and it's this image right here with the fucking goat dude and shit with the titties and shit. Now this is an alchemical.
Oh yeah.
That's alchemical symbol, right? But the dude that made the original Moloch or the original what do you call it? Baphomet, that symbol, that's Eliphas Levi. He used to be a Catholic priest, which is crazy, but he got really deep into the esoteric. So you got like Moloch, which like this cow looking dude, he's like this and shit with the big ass horns and stuff. And he's like the god of children sacrifices. I forget which religion it is. Probably what was that?
Catholicism is evil, bro. I'm telling you. No way.
I mean, the way I look at it, man, like
yeah, I was born Catholic. I was born Catholic and shit, so I know. Like, you know what? Like they have like it's filled with pedophiles. They have all the satanic imagery and shit. Like they have like a temple that's like a serpent's head and shit. They have one of the biggest telescopes. It's in Arizona. You can search it up. It's an abbreviation. So it's like Lucifer, where it's like L.U. It's like an abbreviation for like light something with light. It's like one of the biggest telescopes in the world, and they have it called Lucifer as an abbreviation. It's owned by the Vatican. Yeah. The Vatican's evil. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. Like, so I'm in like a secret society and shit. You know what I'm saying? Called the OTO, and not many of my brethren, but one of the most famous members of our order, who was Aleister Crowley, he brings up the Vatican. He brings up them and calls them the Black Brothers. So he like looks at like these three schools of magic, right? There's the White Brotherhood, there's the Black Brotherhood, and there's the Yellow Brotherhood. And the Black Brothers are like the most evilest. They do shit just purely for gain, purely for chaos, purely for control and power.
Wait a minute, Aleister Crowley wasn't he a Freemason or something, or was that? Yeah.
In the beginning, he was a Freemason. Yeah, in the beginning and shit. You know what I'm saying? He was also the self-proclaimed wickedest man on earth and the self-proclaimed Satan, the beast and shit. But like he used that shit because he liked the fucking shock value. He liked to shock people and shit with concepts, and he really wasn't really feeling Christianity the way it's used. And I'll speak for myself, and I'm not speaking for my order or anybody else, is that, Crowley didn't like how people use Christianity over other people, like controlling, condemning, and power for money and worship and shit like that, limiting people's belief systems and stuff. So he would say shit to piss people off. And if the people got pissed off, he don't want them around. He don't think that a person who's easily offended is worthy to learn the secret mysteries of existence and shit, you know what I'm saying? So he kind of had an effective way. I mean, I'll say this, it kind of backfired in a lot of areas and shit, because he was into a lot of weird ass shit that, a lot of niggas ain't really into, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, he did him and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, the mind's extremely powerful. People don't understand that, how much control you have. You don't really have control over everything. You have control over a lot. And you have control over how you react to things. And that's it's like mental transmutation. You know what I mean? Like life's going to throw you shit, but it's all about how you react to it. You can transmute that, and you can turn that into someone else. And people who know this, they avoid a lot of bullshit in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of the suffering everyone has to go through. Because it's all about balance and shit. You know what I mean?
Yep. I mean, go ahead.
Like it's crazy, but like obviously everyone knows the movie The Matrix, but in The Matrix, I forget which one. When in one of them, like the architect or whatever, the man was saying like, how it's funny too, because that movie, Hollywood hides a lot of shit in there. So that movie has a lot of stuff that's relevant to actual reality. So the Grand Architect, which the Masons call the Grand Architect, they call it that. That's what the G represents in the compass and the G, And yeah, the Grand Architect said like they made the Matrix, or the reality we're in right now, perfect, and people couldn't accept it. You know what I mean? Because he says like people base like their life off how much suffering they have, in a way. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Are you
It's like a
a Mason?
balance. It's like you base your life on how much suffering you have. Like you know, like how much is lacking in your life. That's how you base your life off. If you had everything and everyone had everything, like they wouldn't be the same. Like we need this as human beings. We need adversity. We need to be like that's what people don't understand. Like you need to fight through shit. Because most people that are rich and shit, or they get to the top or whatever, get top of their craft or whatever they're doing, like they don't really care about like there right now. Like they like the whole part of it's getting there. You know, and getting there is like the whole thing.
Yeah. Hey,
People
let me
don't
ask you.
understand.
Are you a Mason?
No, I'm not a Mason, but I know Masons.
Okay, because you like when you say like you get to the craft and shit, because you speak kind of like one and stuff like, and you know, like OTO, like in the beginning, we were a part of masonry. We were like a derivative, a pendant body of masonry, but then that shit changed over time by them wanting to do things that other masons in Germany didn't want them to do and shit. You know what I'm saying? So we eventually separated completely from them, and after like a while, we stopped even calling ourselves masons. We call ourselves magicians and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the master mason for us is the master magician, and the fellow craft for us is the
Yeah, fellow craft.
and then the inner apprentice is the man or brother and shit. So, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro, I totally agree with you, man. Like we need duality. I mean, not like we need it, it's just there and shit. We have the opportunity to either pick one duality or the other duality, or to center ourselves in the center of the duality in perfect balance and stuff with the two opposites and stuff, which at that point they don't even become opposites, it becomes like one fucking
Very
whole
true.
order. You know what I'm
Very
saying?
true.
I would suggest that, you know, that maybe you know a lot about like, you know, this kind of shit, because like you're growing plants and stuff. And in plants, you know, I'm sure you gotta like you have to have a knowledge of what's good for the plant, what's not good for the plant, you know what I'm saying? What the plant eats and what could kill it and shit, you know what I'm saying? And the process the plant goes through and the purpose of the plant. And that will probably make you an effective grower if you're gonna be growing. Otherwise, if you don't know what you're doing, it's gonna be fucking shit up. You feel me?
Yeah, you need to know. You need to know your. You know, you need to know how things function and how to work things. But the reason why I'm not a Mason is because it's just another system of control. You know, it's also a system of control, and you'll probably never get the real answers. And really, the answers are within us all. It's within you.
Yeah.
It's within everyone. You know what I mean? It's in you, so you don't really need someone to guide you, or some organization to guide you there. They might be corrupting your energy for something for their own purposes. You know what I mean? And yeah, the master mason and apprentice, whatever, craft and all those ones. The first three, it's like they call it the Blue Lodge, right? The Blue Lodge.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm pretty sure you have to go to like the Knights Templar, the Scottish Rite, or
I think
what
it's
else is the
York,
other one?
right? York, right?
Yeah,
Then Knights Temple, Scottish, right?
yeah, there's a York Rite, there's a Shriners too. I
Yeah.
know someone who's a 32nd degree and he's in Shriners or something. You know those guys who dress up like clowns and shit and have a
Yeah,
charity.
yeah, tassels and shit. Yeah.
Those he owns a deli shop in Toronto. He owns like a bunch of deli shops. He's some old Jewish guy, and he has like pictures of like with the president and prime minister and like all types of celebrities and shit like on the walls. They come in there, and like there's like a random. You know how I started a conversation with him because I was in there eating one day. I grabbed a sandwich because the sandwiches are crazy over there. And I noticed a Freemason thing just in the corner out of nowhere. I'm like, are you a Mason? He's like, yeah. And I started talking to him with it. And I really wanted to join them. You know what I mean? And this is before they had different rules back then. You had to know a Mason for 2 years, and you had to have like 2 people recommend you. So
Yeah.
one of his employees is a Mason, and he's like, yeah, you can get in. Just keep bugging me. Like come back in a few years and just keep bugging me every time you come in. So I did that for years and years and years. And then the rules changed after, and then I changed my mind. I'm like, I don't really want to be a part of this cult. You know what I mean? Fuck that
Yeah.
shit.
The way I look at it, because I kind of like, because I try to become a Mason in Florida, but you know, of course, you can't have any felonies if you want to be a Mason and stuff. And when that happened, I hadn't caught my my 2 sales, possession, and delivery felonies, and I hadn't caught my what would be my 4th, my last felony a few years later and stuff. So right there, I went and I thought they were weird, bro. I knew my granddad, or I found out my granddad was a Mason, right? I never talked to my dad about it, but my grandfather or my grandma or my grandma told me, or my mom, somebody told me and shit, and I was kind of curious and stuff. So I did some research, and of course, like on my phone in 2010 or 2013. So 2013, I had been caught my other 2 felonies, right? I didn't, there was nothing but bad shit about it, and I was going to a Christian church, it's a Pentecostal church, and it was like a faith-based recovery program and shit, and like it was all bad stuff. So, at that point, I was kind of like, is this like the truth? It's all bad, or is this like people that don't like it are only like going to put the bad things out here? Because like, if my grandfather was a Mason, he was a fucking awesome individual, man. He was a good man. He's a patriarch of our family. You know what I'm saying? So,
a lot of Masons are very good people. Masonry is about it's about shaping you as an individual in a way. It's like, you know what I mean? Like you see how like a Mason chips away a stone to create something. It's like chipping away yourself to create like you kind of dissolve your ego and transcend all this bullshit that we're living in. You know what I mean? It's all about that in a way.
Yeah.
A lot of it's good. It's also used for a different way because they know something a lot of people don't, and they use that against other people.
Yeah, I can see that happen.
If you're a Mason, you have to take pretty much like a blood oath. You have to like swear you can never divulge this information. If you do, they'll use certain techniques against you. You get fucked up by them. Masons, they're all like, I don't know, like to be successful, like to be high up and shit, you probably have to be in one of these things like Masonry.
Yeah, I could see it happen. Like for me, like in the OTO and shit, because like I said, it came out of Masonry and shit. Of course, we gotta take like the blood oaths, and we gotta take the secrecy, and you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't reveal this and shit. But like, from my experience, the only thing that we're not allowed to reveal is exactly what happens during and inside of initiation and shit, and the things that are said and shit. You know what I'm saying? And the way I look at it, is to keep it fresh for somebody who comes in that's new, so it's not going to be spoiled for them, so they'll be able to get. You don't want to have somebody tell you the end of the movie before you get to sit down and movie and watching this shit. You don't want no spoilers and shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, I do believe like that the oath that we take and shit. You know what I'm saying? It does have its consequences and shit. Is it like they described? I hella doubt that shit. You know what I'm saying? But like, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, I could see like if somebody promises me to keep a secret that's important to them and shit, and I fucking go and blab that shit, then and they find out that I told, and now they're disappointed in me and shit, and now I got shame on my face. Now I know I fucked up and shit. Like, man, this person trusted you and shit. Now you violate this person's trust and stuff. So like, nobody's gonna want to trust me with things and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like I do believe in that karmic type, balance and stuff. That if I do wrong, know what I'm doing wrong ahead of time, it's because to make it that much worse on the inside for me and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know how I see it? It's like everything's about balance. So you can't have everyone knowing this shit. That's why it's so highly protected. Why? Because let's pretend this. Let's pretend we had a regular dice. We rolled the dice. It's a 1 out of 6 chance you're gonna roll whatever number you choose, right? That's what everyone believes, right? Well, what if there was like a way to influence the dice and only a couple of people knew this? So maybe that percentage went up to 80% at whatever they say it's gonna roll on, instead of like the 1 in 6, right? And now imagine everyone knew how to do that. Then it's going to become random again. Then it's actually going to be chance if everyone was on an equal playing field mentally.
Yeah, and one thing too. No, I feel you, because like one thing too, like for me, because I'm also in another fellowship called Alcoholics Anonymous and shit. I got like 3.5 years sober, and what I know from there is that a lot of the information that we teach and that we suggest in AA, that shit ain't for everybody. A lot of people ain't capable. It just seems like they're not capable of grasping some of the concepts that are contained inside the AA Big Book and the way of life that we look to live and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, not doing other people's inventories. Like if I said something, I offended somebody, then I'm supposed to admit that shit and make amends with that shit. I'm supposed to do my own inventory like every night, like go over my head, like who did I hurt? Did I owe any apologies? Who did I wrong? Was I trying to pack help into the stream of life? Was I trying to take away those? Like asking yourself certain questions and stuff to gauge yourself morally and stuff. And some people, I'm not gonna lie, bro, they come into AA, they learn this shit, and they use that shit on other people, bro. I know hella dudes and shit that come to AA.
When you use it, when you use it on them, like what? Like how are they using on them?
They use the knowledge like they got some kind of special fucking expertise and shit, and they see somebody, like somebody told me, I gotta get this chick before she gets to God. And he basically wants to, what they do is they see people are sick and suffering, and they approach them like they're gonna help, when really they're trying to get them for some money, they're trying to get them for a ride, maybe for a job, maybe for some cigarettes and shit, or maybe trying to get in their pants and shit. So they're using the platform of AA in order for them to carry out their own, a nefarious, I would say nefarious fucking impure motives and shit.
Think about this. I mean, no disrespect to you. It's not about you in this, but people who are alcoholics and have to go to AA means they got to a point where they're so out of control and they have no self-control at all that they have to go into a program. It's not a bad thing that they're trying to change, obviously, which is good. Or probably a lot of them are forced to go there through court or whatever, but
yeah, it was called the court.
Yeah, most of them. So whatever, they're just fucking idiots, man. So you can't really pay attention to those people. Like you may have had a drinking problem with your own reason and shit. You know what I mean? I drink. I probably drink a little too much, but I'm not to the point where I need to go to alcoholics or something. I'm not an alcoholic. I could not drink if I want to, but if I can, then I will sometimes.
Yeah, it's funny because like in AA, like they only talk about alcohol in the first step, so it's more than just alcohol. Like for me, it wasn't. I mean, yeah, alcohol was a problem, but it was more like my solution, and it was more
no. Well, the only reason why you're using that, sorry for interrupting you, obviously there's something else. There's other things going on that you haven't resolved. You have to move past those things, and you're using that as a crutch to just kind of ignore it. You can't be ignoring shit. Reality's gonna slap you in the face eventually. You know what I mean?
That's pretty much
so you just gotta man up and face all the bullshit that happened in your past to just move forward from it.
Yeah,
I've learned that over a long time. Cause I'm telling you, man, I grew up in like one of the worst situations ever. Like fucking dirtiest, shittiest, fucking in the projects, everything. It was horrible. But it was like my parents and shit. The way I grew up was really fucked up. So
I feel you.
What I did is I could have used that. You can't use things as an excuse. You can use them to like burn a fire under you and do better. You know what I mean? So
yeah, like for me, it's like it just got to a point where like I needed help and I couldn't do it by myself. So that's essentially all Alcoholics Anonymous is as a system, is a place where people can meet they can learn something they might need to learn from other people that have been where they've been or somewhat similar where they've been and stuff. And like the whole goal of AA, the whole building upon what AA is built on is one alcoholic work with another alcoholic. And you can change that. One human work with another human and shit. You know what I'm saying? And like I tell the members, my friends and shit, like, now that I'm in a secret society, that AA operates damn near parallel, almost the same as a secret society, because you can't, like, you're not supposed to tell what happens in a meeting after the meeting, or there's this anonymity thing. Like, you don't break people's anonymity. Like, if you know somebody who's a famous like porn star or actress or actor or musician and shit, or in a high place or whatever, you don't just go up into their business like, hey man, I know him from AA and shit, because other people might understand that work for him or that follow him and stuff, But at the end of the day, man, like, hey, what AA is, bro, it's like another path and shit for a person, for individual to find what they need to find, like, to get their sustenance and shit. Like, since you mess with plants and shit, certain plant life is gonna be found at certain levels of life, of existence on the earth and shit. You know what I'm saying? But no matter what level you go to, you're gonna find some form of plant life, and they may not be able to exist on other levels. Like a plant in the desert may not be able to live in the mountain, or in the plain may not be able to live in the cave and shit.
So I think I know what you're saying. If you're saying like pretty much what you're saying is like AA is not really just about alcohol. It really has nothing to do with. It's more of like a mind state. You know what I mean?
Spirit,
And it could be applied to everything in your life in general. You know what I
pretty
mean?
much. Like the way I look at it,
Like
go
like
ahead.
everyone could benefit off learning those lessons or whatever. Those all those things, right? Yeah.
That's a thing. So like, and you have to be initiated into like Freemasonry or into the OTO or to like Golden Dawn or whatever and shit, right? But in AA, you kind of have to be initiated in the same sense. Like you got to go through that fucking pain of being an alcoholic and shit. And like nobody can tell you you're an alcoholic. You basically you show up to a meeting and shit, and they ask you, you know, you raise your hand, you're like, I'm so and so, and they're like, oh, are you an alcoholic? And you don't at that point, you probably don't even know. But the book, the way it's designed, and sitting down with somebody else, is it asks you a bunch of questions. And if you can answer these questions, then it'll tell you what kind of drinker you are, like the heavy drinker, the moderate drinker, the occasional drinker, the blackout drinker, or the what they say the man that's been baffling us is the full blown alcoholic that once he starts, he cannot stop with any sufficient force. And like that's where I fall in. Like, you know, on everything else on paper, I'm a good dude. I'm a stand up, intelligent dude and shit. But when it comes to drinking, like normal people don't drink beer and then like catch felonies and shit because they've been fucking smoking meth and fucking robbing people and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Most people go to a bar, they drink a couple beers and shit, and they go home. Like me, I go home, I drink. I wake up, I drink. I go back to sleep. My whole life becomes centered around drinking. It's because there's something missing. And so like the first step talks about alcohol, but every step after that talks about spirituality, talks about the moral inventory and shit, the mental aspect of it, and then also talks about, you know, repairing our wrongs and shit, you know what I'm saying, to the best of our ability and shit. So really, it's more of a moral guide for the alcoholic nature. Like some people go to church and they hear Jesus' name and they're done. They're never drink again
For
and shit.
shit. You know what's missing? You know what it is, man? This is what it is. Like, bro, you could do anything you want in life, pretty much. So if you came up with an idea and you're passionate about that, and you wake up every day being excited to do that shit, and you make a living off that, boom! I guarantee you, one of you want to be doing that shit.
Yep, and that's for like what it is for me is like this is it because not only am I an alcoholic and shit, but I'm a flat earther too. And in my last relapse, I was watching the flat earth shit. I thought it was fucking retarded. I thought it was the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. You know what I'm saying? But then, you know what I'm saying, I started fucking like just listening to what they were saying. I'm like, you know what? Some of this shit fucking makes hella good sense. Like some of this shit makes more sense than the shit I was taught in school. And it was fucking weird to hear me say that shit. So I kept watching and learning and started investigating, started asking questions to myself. And eventually I was kind of like, you know what? I don't fucking know where the fuck this is. I've never been to space. And when I was like, man, I want to find out. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I thought to myself, like, nigga, you can't even stop drinking, nigga. Shut the fuck up. You try to do this. You want to go to Antarctica, and you can't even make it past Walgreens. I go in there to steal some shit to get a gift card so you can fucking turn the gift card and get some cash, go get some drugs and alcohol and shit, you know what I'm saying, booze and shit, and some cigarettes and blunts. And you talk about you can go to Antarctica and Arctic Ocean and shit. Yeah, so it's like, that's not realized, bro. What happened to me is like, I realized that if I don't know the place that I'm in, regardless of what I've been taught, I'm not no stupid person. If I don't know that definitively the place that I'm in, I may not know the person that's in it. And that's when my fucking mind, like, it completely opened up. And I was like, I think I need to go get sober. If I want to find out, and of course, man, I've been able to do in these past 3 years, I've been able to do things I'd never fucking dreamed of, you know, all because I got fucking honest with myself. Like, I got a fucking problem. I need to address that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Which is like the first degree.
You know the Hermetic principles and shit, right?
Yep. Actually, I just ordered 2 books. They should be here on Monday, right? So let me show you real quick. I got the Kybalion on its way, and I got
the Kybalion. Yeah.
I got the Corpus Hermeticum, the Divine Pyramid. I was listening to Terrence McKenna the other day, and I'm like, I gotta get them. I just ordered them and shit.
Bro, you know you should fucking read. It's a book. I read it when I was like 11 years old, man. And it's a book. It's like a good book. I'm telling you. It's called The Alchemist by Paul Coelho.
My boy can read that shit.
Yeah, it has a crazy meaning and shit. Like I want to reread it now that I know all this new information and see how much more. Like I don't know that I think that book is like kind of implanted a seed in my mind when I was a kid. It like kind of be receptive to this type of shit. You know?
Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, let me show you another book I just got done reading. Hold on, give me a second. So this book right here is kind of like on some hermetic shit too, right? It's you never heard of the Theosophical Society, like H.P. Blavatsky and Annie Besant and all them. Well, this book right here is called Mabel Collins. It's a 7 collection of books, right? But the first one, The Light on the Path, that shit is fucking the truth right there. You can even, it's on YouTube, bro. It's like some shit reading it. It's like 30 minutes long and shit, bro. But it's like hella deep. It talks about like kind of like the self-initiation process and stuff. Or like basically, you know, like we're talking about. Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna listen to the audio book while I'm doing shit. You know?
Yeah,
I always listen to audio books while I'm working, so like I don't have to read them. I can listen to them, and then I can also do shit at the same time. You know?
Yeah, that's what I do. I've probably do like 60 books a year like that. But now I'm like, now I got my spot and everything. I'm buying books and shit, and I'm reading them, highlighting shit, taking notes and stuff so I can refer back to them. Because like on the audio book, it's like you just read it, you stop, you read it, you stop, you read it, you stop. You can't like really highlight certain things. I would copy and paste certain quotes and shit, but like to have the books is a lot different. But like Light on the Path, like I'll just read you like just like one little thing about it. You know what I'm saying? Like she says right here, where I pass, all my children know me. She's talking about wisdom. You know what I'm saying? That light of illumination and shit. I mean, but the book is dope as fuck, bro. It's some real shit. And that power which the disciples shall covet is that which shall make him appear as nothing in the eyes of men. On some Jesus shit. Niggas be like, bro, we ain't fucking with no illumination and no higher wisdom. We fucking with cash, nigga. You ain't got the new Jordans. We ain't feeling you and shit. Talk about this spiritual shit you talking about.
This shit is being used to manipulate people, bro.
Yeah, bro. And you know what? This is why I come down, because I'm in a society too myself, right? And I do, before I even joined, bro, I was like, I had to get approved and all kind of shit because I had felonies and shit. Like the Masonic Lodge already denied me once. Another one out here in Vegas, they're like, my boy was like, man, I want to fuck. We want to fuck with you, but we can't. Our hands are tied because of the felonies. Otherwise, you would be in already. You know what I'm saying? And so I eventually found the OTO, reached out to them, and they were a little bit more lenient on their shit because they're a little bit newer. They're like 150 years old, right? As what they are to the modern day. And I passed the fucking interview. It took like a year for me to get in. They had to all meet me and see what kind of dude I was. You know what I'm saying? They liked me a lot. And before I took my first initiation, bro, I backed out of it. I was like, I just like stopped calling, stopped talking, stopped answering their phone calls. Shit,
you know what's OTO? I don't even know what that is. What is it?
Ordo Templi Orientis.
Order.
Yeah. So you probably. Yeah, when they on YouTube, like the word secret society, that was gonna pop up all the time. Skull and Bones, Child Commission, OTO, Freemasons, Rosicrucian, Golden Dawn.
Yeah, I've heard of the Order of Temple, whatever. So yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so it means Order of the Temple of the East or Order of the Oriental Templars. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically based on like this ancient idea of the Hermetic Brotherhood of Light or the Great White Brotherhood. You know, some like real hermetic type shit, you know what I'm saying? But like, I had backed out, bro, because the thing with Aleister Crowley, I was like, what these niggas gonna steal my soul or some shit, right? And niggas, so I stopped showing up. I ain't talked to them. They hit me up. They're like, man, we got your paperwork. I mean, all we gotta do is you just gotta like give a little breakdown of what you got in trouble for and what happened and like how you are today and shit. And I was like, I watched this little podcast by one of the oldest members of our order and shit. He was like, if you're gonna be afraid of something, don't even fucking do it because you're not gonna put your all into it. And he's like, that's why Crowley would say shit in a fucked up way to scare people that he didn't think were worthy. And I heard that, I was like, well, damn, nigga, if I got sober, and that shit was the toughest I ever did in my life, was not drinking for a day, and then 2 days, and 3 days in a month, and 2 months, 3 months in a year. Well, I might be able to do this. So I ended up hitting him up, went through my first initiation, bro. And the funny thing is, I chaired this meeting at 10 o'clock in Vegas, the A meeting, and I had to go do my initiation right after that was over. So no, during that, so I had to go get somebody to cover my meeting and shit. And I was like, bro, look, if you don't see me again, nigga, it's because the niggas killed me. And I went Did the initiation. The shit was fucking beautiful. It was dope as a motherfucker, bro. I was glad I did it and shit. I came out like a new sense of life, a new sense of purpose and shit. Like, all right, I can do this. It's not all bad. It's only my thoughts about something that make it bad. To a degree and shit. You know what I'm saying? If you doing fucked up shit, you doing fucked up shit. You know what I'm saying? If you,
do they have lodges? Do they have lodges and shit?
So how we work is first you start off as a camp. And then after you get a certain status and a certain number of members, and you can become an oasis, and that's when you get like your own like temple space, like your own like lodge. And oasis and lodge are kind of the same thing. That's when you're official, and then when you have a group, a big enough group, whatever in your area, then you become a lodge. So we have the lodges and stuff. Only thing about the OTO and Mason, so like there's secret societies and there's societies that have secrets. So I would say that Freemasonry is more of a society with secrets because everybody knows.
Not really. Okay. Basically, the first three lodges of Freemasonry, the Blue Lodge, it's all about memorization. It's all about Hiram Abiff and Solomon's Temple and all. It's all memorization pretty much and reciting things. So you have to do a lot of memorization. That's what it is. And you have to do a lot of charity work. And you pay lodge fees every month. And so
it's similar to us. I mean, you don't have to do memorization and shit in OTO if you want to first, because we have like the church arm, which is called the EGC, the Ecclesia Gnostica Catholica, where if you want to like be a deacon or be a deacon or a priest or a priestess, you're gonna have to memorize a bunch of shit that's said in the mass, right? And that's only for the mass and shit. So you don't have to memorize if you don't want to, but like in the OTO, like so. The only thing about Masonry that I would say, like, their society with secrets, like the memorization, the cipher, what's said in their initiation, which really is fucking public information. You can like fucking Google that shit and find it really easily. There's books on everything that's said.
Like, I don't even think the real knowledge is at the 33rd degree, which basically no one gets to. So it's super hidden. You're most like it's like making the fucking MBA or something, or even harder than that, trying to get this knowledge at the end of the day. Unless you're born into it, unless you're like have a bloodline into it, you're probably not gonna get it.
I think at the same time though, the knowledge is understood internally. Like there's some people that just get it. They see what they're seeing, like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? And they're mystified and they become intrigued and want to learn more. Some people.
What would the Masons do about someone who just knows it subconsciously?
For me, bro, before I took my first degree, right? So let me go back real quick. So like the Masons, they do their public they do shit in public. They wear shit in public. You can see their lodge. They got fucking billboards. They got signs into the city or the town of Freemasonic Lodge, fucking Eagles, fucking Lions Club, Rotary Club, Kiwanis, Shriners. They have all that shit's public. Like the OTO, like you can Google like any one of our lodges and you'll pull up and you ain't gonna find it because it's gonna be inside of some fucking store or it's going to be inside of some fucking back basement or some shit, you know what I'm saying? And then like another thing is like we don't have any way to identify each other in public. We do, but we don't. We're not allowed to do this shit. It's only used for initiations for the people of what we call the common degree to be able to attend. Like
in Freemasonry, there's a certain handshake for every level, every degree.
Yeah, but they when they approach each other in public, they'll do that shit in public. We don't do that shit. We're not even allowed to. Honestly, we're not allowed to at all. That's what we're kind of like more of a secret society, being that you have to like really fucking find us. Masons, they're everywhere. You already know where they're at. You'll see the guys that have like, I got my little pendant and shit. I'm a little gangster in my shit. I got the OTO. I got my RAM. I'm a little on some nigga shit. You know what I'm saying? Most of us ain't even like that. They just regular ass people you wouldn't even know and stuff. But like, with the knowledge and stuff, bro, like before I took my first degree, so we have our degree system, there's 13 degrees in all. To get the 13th degree, that shit's so fucking hard. You're like talking about 20 something years in the order and shit. And the higher you go, the more of service you are. That means that you got to conduct you have to do work, you know what I'm saying? Like managerial type positioning, superintendent, presidential type position, shit, you know what I'm saying? But like in the first, the 0 through 3 or 0 through 4, the 0 degree is called the Minerval degree, and that's like where you see the owl of Minerva, which is wisdom, and that's an honored guest. And then if you want to continue to go on further, take your first degree, it's like that's when we say like now you're in it forever. You know what I'm saying? Like you got now the bonds are made, the spiritual bonds that can never be broken and shit are made then. You know what I'm saying? Are they good bonds? Are they bad bonds? That depends on the fucking person, really. That depends on their fucking personality type and shit. You know what I'm saying? But before I took my first degree, I was sitting in a hookah lounge with a couple of the higher degree members and shit. You know what I'm saying? And we're talking about this and that. And I'm still pretty new. I took my 0 degree maybe 2 months before that, and I'm like hitting them all my wisdom and shit, lighting them up with all this fucking knowledge I already got. And then they start looking at each other. They start laughing and smiling, looking at each other. I'm like, what the fuck did I say? And after we done with the hookah and shit, one of them came to me, was like, hey, I just want you to know that you discovered the whole secret to the first degree, and you haven't even took it yet. But I can't tell you what you said. I'm trying to think of what I said, because I said so fucking much over 2 hours and shit. And I'm like, damn, they already got the shit. I already got the knowledge. I'm already plugged in. You know what I'm saying? And I took my first degree, and I seen what it was. I didn't know what I said, but I seen it was the context of what I was talking about in reference to certain things biblically. You know what I'm saying? And as regards to like the Genesis and shit. And I was like, damn. And I haven't taken my second degree yet because like the coronavirus and shit. And you can't and make sure you can do 3 degrees in a month. In OTO, you can do your 0 degree, then you got to wait 30 days. 28 days. Then you can do your first degree. After you do your first degree, you have to wait 9 months. And then you can do your second degree. After you do your second degree, you have to wait like 18 months. And after your second degree, you can do your third degree. You have to wait like fucking 3 years and shit. So there's a process that they allow it so that the people that take the initiations, they can learn. There's a lot of reading, a lot of shit that you got to like research and stuff if you choose to, that you can learn all that stuff on your own instead of just like winging people through fucking degrees, you know, because like they're getting badges and shit, you know what I'm saying? And they're not retaining any knowledge of it. But I would definitely say that the information that we learn in these secret societies are already, it is us. Beyond built in us, it is us. And that's where free secret societies or these secret mystery schools can be of importance, is because you get to learn about yourself. However, you don't need no fucking mystery school. You don't need no secret society. It's all in us. It's all the universe around us. Shit. All you gotta have.
Yeah, fuck that. Fuck that. Yeah. Because you can't. Everyone has a different. Like, you know what I mean? Like everyone has a different take on it. You know what I mean? Like one person's take, I don't think is necessarily true. It might be true in some degree. Just like everything's true in some degree, like with all religions and all these shit. You know what I mean? Just different interpretations. Just different interpretations. So you have your own interpretation on that. So you don't really need that. You just have to be responsible, knowing that your thoughts dictate what's going on around you. You're responsible for everything pretty much in your life.
Yeah, that's it. It's like and that's like anything, because you're a grower, right? You can do wrong with what you're doing. You can use that shit. I'm pretty sure you may know some things that you can do that'll be against the grain and to maximize product or maximize cash flow or whatever you want. You can be like, nigga, you know what? I'm gonna spray some of this shit with fucking strychnine and shit and sell to niggas I hate. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can find something good and something bad to do with whatever their craft is, if you want to say it like that. And like I'm not a magician yet, you know what I'm saying? When I say magician, I ain't talking Lance Burton. I ain't talking fucking none of that fucking TV David Copperfield shit. I'm talking about magic with the K, as the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with my will and shit. Like
I can do that. I could say like I can call whatever the dice are gonna be like 50 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm the same, like even if you have a coin right now, I guarantee you can flip it 10 times and we can know exactly what it's gonna be every time, or control what it's gonna be. There's no probability. It's weird.
Yeah.
When you get onto that mind state, though, you have to know it though, in a way. You have to use your will.
And like the funny thing is, like in AA, right? They're kind of like polarized against the idea of will, right? Our will versus God's will. And that, when we say like that, it almost sounds really Christian, right? But then later on it says proper use of the will, right? In step 3, it says made a decision to turn our will and our life over to the care of God as we understood them. That means the individual, whatever concept they got, as long as it makes sense to them, they're fucking good. It don't have to be Jesus. It don't have to be Baphomet or Hadid or Nuid or Krishna or Buddha or Muhammad. No, just whatever it is makes sense to them. If it's a fucking doorknob and they understand how the doorknob works and they're at peace with that shit because it has a function, then that's good for them. It's for them to grow their inner spiritual understanding and shit. But like we're talking about, like, you know, saying like the will is like what is will and shit. Well, if I don't know, so my problem.
It's a projection. The will is the projection of your intention. It can be done through visualization. It can be done through a lot of means. It can be done just by thought. It can be done just by subconscious. Some people have stronger minds than others. It's harder to do it on them, influence them and stuff.
And the people who have the weak minds are the ones that are really most susceptible to be prey to people with stronger minds and shit, you know. And I play basketball, right? If I go to a basketball, go ahead.
No, because there's something called chromatic. It's all about balance and shit. Like you do whatever you put in, you're gonna kind of receive back in a way. It's all about cause and effect, action and reaction. So there's a way to neutralize it, but I don't use it for evil. I'm not that type of person. I know you can use it to manipulate. You can use it to fuck with people hard, but I don't really do that.
I use the shit that I get, bro, to learn more, bro. Basically, every time I learn something new, I get to admit that I don't know something, so I get to learn something new, right? And then when I learn something new, I'm right back at the starting point again. I'm right back at the starting line. You know what I'm saying? Soon I finish the race, it's another race. Once the end is the beginning is the end. So if I keep myself always open-minded to new concepts and shit, then my will is going to show that. Like, so in Thelema, which is, okay, so OTO has a religion. It's called Thelema, right? And our church is called the Ecclesia Gnostica Catholica. It's like a Catholic church, the same kind of operation, same kind of system in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we do our main ritual and shit, which is a public ritual. Anybody, like, I do believe we have an OTO in your area and stuff. You know what I'm saying? If you like, when everything opens up, like, hey, I want to go check out the Gnostic Masters, hit him up. You can go see it. Simple as that. It's free. It's open to the public and shit, right? But we have this idea of the true will, right? And so the big Thelemic ideas is finding out what the true will is, and then making knowledge and conversation, attaining knowledge and conversation with one's holy guardian angel, which is a Catholic term and shit, you know what I'm saying? And basically, like, the true will is like, what is my will? What is my motive? What is my purpose? And for me, when I realized I was an alcoholic and did the steps and stayed in the program, I realized my true will is to stay sober, straight, just like that. And if it means I got to help other people that's suffering, well, then that's cool, because I get to stay sober and shit. So my whole life is built on the platform of sobriety, which is I want to die sober and shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, a person's motives will be revealed in their conduct, in their footwork. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much why I made this live stream, because, like, I know some people on other channels that pretty much go on other people's live streams just to fucking be cool one day and then talk shit, slander, try to fucking give them a hard time the next day. It's like that's your motive, is to cause chaos, to cause static and confusion, to play games of spiritual one-upmanship, or play games of my God's bigger than your God and shit, big brick, little brick, and guru competitions and shit, as Alan Watts eloquently puts and stuff, you know? And like, that's like where we can find our motive and shit. You know, my brother, he grows, right? And this nigga, he like, I'll hit him up like, bro, what you doing? My little brother. He's like, I'm talking to my plants right now. I'm a mom right now. Call me back later. That's the real ass shit, nigga.
Real shit, man. But yeah, like, what was I gonna say too? I fucking forgot. I don't know, man. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how reality is shaped. But I'm telling you, like, people use this shit to their advantage. There's something to your thoughts. That's what I was gonna say. You should search up someone called Dr. Michael Persinger. He's out of Canada. He passed away. Well, like, they proved, like, the minds are all connected. Like, he basically explained, like, imagine, like, billions of wires connected to the Earth's magnetic field. And he's saying, like, there's enough. He, like, broke down the math and everything. He's, like, saying there's, like, a picotesla, which is some giant number. And of like data storage in the Earth's magnetic field, and he's saying there's like enough data storage to store every memory or thought any human beings would ever have, just in the Earth's magnetic field, and there's ways to access that information. Meaning you can like see this everything in a way, if theoretically, and who knows? And this shit was from like 10 years ago. Search up Dr. Michael Persiger. I'll tell you. He's out of the University of Laurentian in Sudbury, Ontario. It's not known because people don't really show people. People don't tell people about this shit. Like the media. Like, how does anyone ever know about things? Because the media goes and shows everything what they want them to show people.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And it's like, how do we know that's even the truth and shit if we're not even questioning? That's like the whole thing with, I don't know if you're a flat earther or not, or if you're open to it or whatever, doesn't really matter and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But like, for me, bro, it's like I realized like everything I learned in school, bro, like it wasn't based on if it was right or if it was wrong, if it was ethically good and true and sound and cogent and valid.
You want to hear my viewpoint on the flat earth?
Go ahead.
All right, here's my, you know what, I rate flat earthers in a way because yes, you should question everything you were taught, but there's no fucking point of anyone lying about what shape the earth is. Like, what's the benefit of it all? So like, honestly, like the earth is fucking round, man. Okay, that's what I think. Like, whatever, like you can have an opinion on it, but there's no benefit if it's fucking triangular, rectangular, horizontal, whatever, any type of shape. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Like, no one's making money off of it. Okay, the only way people would lie about the shape is if they're either getting power off of it, swaying some type of politics or religion, or doing whatever they're, you know, trying to like benefit them. There's no benefit. It could be a fucking triangle. It could be a sphere. It could be flat. It could be fucking a pyramid. I don't give a fuck. Either way, no one's benefiting off what shape it is.
Yes, for me, and that was the main question. It's like the flat earthers I was listening to, they were like, it's the evil, satanic, Illuminati, Freemason conspiracy. I'm like, okay, because they say Satan, so that nigga's like everywhere. He's invisible, like coronavirus. So you can't never know if you ain't buy him or not. And then the Freemasons, like they're like a fucking global power or a global construct and shit. They're everywhere and stuff. And the Luciferian, Illuminati, all their evil entities. And it was like at the end of the day, I was like, well, how would this? Why lie about this shit? I'm like, what is being hid? And like, my first thought was like, well, if they're hiding anything, it may be about, if I don't understand the nature and the shape, size, consistency of the place I live in, then I may not understand, going back to my thing, I don't understand myself, but I may not understand how the system works. And my first thought was like, maybe the fucking Tesla was right. Maybe the energy that we use is all infinite and shit, and they realize that and they keep it from us and stuff because anybody can use it. They put these patents on it and stuff, you know. But at the same time, like, well, how this shit will be pulled off on such a big level? Like, everybody has to be in on it, and that's not possible. And I was like, my first thought, bro.
I'm losing you right now. Wait, so why would the shape matter though?
Well, it would matter because like if it, like for me, it's like if it is like not flat but a level motionless plane, you know what I'm saying? That means that like everything that we were taught would have to be changed to fit that, to be understood from that perspective and shit. Mind you, I ain't never been to space. I can't tell you if it's a ball, a trapezoid, a tetrahedron, a pyramid, just like you said. I can't tell you. I can't even tell you it's a fucking flat disc and shit. I don't know what the fuck it is. All I know is
if someone's lying about this and they know this shit, because people do go to space all the time. So then, why the fuck? So how is it benefiting us?
Well, for me, it's like what I could see if I went to court, right, and they called me to court and they asked me to testify that the Earth is a ball. I'm like, they swear me and all that good shit. Like, so, Mr. Ninja, you believe the Earth, you believe the Earth is a ball? And I'm like, yeah, bro. What the fuck kind of question is that?
Well, it's this. You could take basic, like, you could just see what you just have to. There's a lot of information out, right? You have to kind of use common sense to decipher what may be true and what may not be. Like, you never take anything at face value. You have to use common sense and then try to figure out what's real and what isn't. You know what I mean? So what
Yeah,
they try to say it's a ball or whatever, or a sphere. And it kind of makes sense because, like, if you ever looked at, like, at a telescope, like, it looks around, and then, like, at different times you'll see different parts of it because it spins around. Like, it's spinning and rotating at the same time.
yeah. So like
Like,
basically for me, like I would have to go through everything all over again, start from scratch. You know what I'm saying? And like investigate for myself without the authority. And then this is another thing too. Flat earthers cannot be my authority. Flat Earth Society cannot be my authority because if supposedly I was led astray, I don't know about using that as Christian, if I was lied to or the truth was distorted or altered and shit, then I cannot pick another authority to now base my new learning off of. Like I said, in school, they don't teach you if it's right or wrong, only if you can repeat it to advance the next grade.
Think about it. How do you? What's this class that you think about? The class. It's called history that you learn about past events.
Yeah.
His story. Break down the fucking word. His story. It's somebody's story. When I was in like grade 2 or grade 1 or some shit, I remember we all played this thing in the gym. It was like broken telephone, and what it was one person at the beginning said a phrase, and then the person at the goal was for everyone to keep the same phrase, and by the time I got to the end, it was something completely random. That's exactly what happens with things. You know what I mean? It's somebody's story at the end of the day.
Yep. That's really big too. That's like you brought that up, but like so like in school and shit, like we're not taught if it's real or not. Like I don't know if you had it, but when they said that Christopher Columbus discovered America and they show a picture of this nigga pulling up in a boat with motherfuckers watching.
It was called Broken Telephone. That's what the game's called, Broken.
Yeah,
Telephone.
we play a telephone like, and so in the end of the day, like we may not know, we may not ever know. You know what I'm saying? Like if they let me go back to the court thing, they call me to court and shit. They ask me if the earth is a ball. I'm like, yes. And then the prosecutor, he's like, oh, so you've seen the earth? And I'm like, yes, I've seen the earth. He's like, okay, you're an astronaut. And I'm like, well, hold up. I ain't say all that. You know what I'm saying? But well, Mr. Ninja, I asked you if the earth is a ball. You say yes. I asked you if you've seen the earth. You say yes. I asked you if you're an astronaut. You say no. So I'm curious, I'm sure the court is as well, to know how you've seen the earth and it's a ball if you're not an astronaut. And I'm like, fucking pictures, dumbass, fucking videos. And he's like, oh, you took the pictures, you shot the videos. And for me, bro, that's when I fucking like, damn, nigga, I don't even know. I wasn't a flat earther. I even consider myself a globe earther. That's just shit you don't fucking ever think about. Like North Dakota and South Dakota. You don't think about them fucking states.
Why is this thing become like an identity? Like this flat earthers like a whole like group of people now. Like what the fuck is that shit?
It became you ever heard the Illuminati card game?
The only thing I agree with it is I agree that you should question everything, but chill the fuck out. Like some people think there's like aliens living under the earth and shit. And there's like different types, like
hollow earth. At the end of the day, bro, like I'm never here. Bro, I'm never here to convince or to conform anybody to my beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Like look, so one of the main flat earth guys named Eric Dubay, right? He kind of kicked the whole thing off. He's like, it's a Masonic conspiracy. It's a secret society in the Illuminati. Now, the OTO is like the physical lineage of the Illuminati that's still in existence that has the Illuminati secrets in it. You know what I'm saying? And of course, I can't tell them because I can't. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers to fucking find out for themselves and shit, right? But like, I'm the only fucking flat earther that I know in the OTO, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And I know a hell of a lot of Masons. I got blackballed from a Masonic lodge earlier this year and shit. None of them niggas believe the earth is flat and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, it's a contradicting information and shit, right? So like, man, the one thing is like, my biggest question, like, how can this thing have been pulled off? I can agree that if you can teach anything in school to young students, then they're not going to really question because they have to go to school. If they don't, they'll get in trouble. If they don't go, or their parents get in trouble, people can be put in jail. You can lose your family and shit.
But yeah, man, do you have a coin on you or no?
Was that?
I want to show you. Do you have a coin on you or no?
Let me grab one.
I want to show you something weird right now.
Yeah, I got one. Got my ear chip, nigga. Go ahead.
So I can make you always wrong right now. Like whatever you want it to be, it's going to be the opposite.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
All right, do it. Flip it. See what it's going to be, and then watch. It's going to be the opposite every time.
Let me get a flip on that. It's 50-50 so far. Opposite.
The fuck are you doing?
Huh?
you don't even know how to flip it, this shit, bro. You're like throwing it in the air.
What? How you do it then?
I could do some weird shit. Though. I could give you some voodoo shit, and make you always wrong, or that could make you always right too. It's weird, man. I'm telling you, I do it in person with people. I swear to God, casinos know about this, and scientists know about shit like this. Like that Dr. Michael Persinger, they had a test, and they found out that like they did like a dice roll, and basically like the neurons in the mind fired for like things, you see things before they're there.
Yeah.
Technically. Like the things are like they found out that like the neurons for seeing 6 was in the mind before the roll was even done. So it was like somehow in your mind before it was there. So there's a way to access that shit if you're on a certain frequency and shit. I'm telling you, search up Dr. Michael Persinger. This shit's all been proven in the laboratory. It's fucked up. And imagine what they know about this. The military's been using this shit. The casinos know about this. It doesn't mean since you know about this, you can go to a casino and become a millionaire. You think they're that fucking stupid? They know about this shit. They can use certain frequencies in there and block it and shit. I'm telling you, they can block that shit. And they can even make it worse. I'm telling you. Search your shit up. It's real fact.
I believe that shit. So like, I was trying to find a video of it, but I couldn't. But like, so Aleister Crowley, right? He was doing this thing when he was trying to explain like how magic worked, and it's this thing he called.
My bad. Let me tell you something right now, quick.
Go ahead.
Start on this one. Put Michael Persinger, like Michael, and then Persinger, Persinger, and then put No More Secrets. Put No More Secrets, Dr. Michael Persinger.
Persin Persinger.
Yeah, so you can remember and watch it after. He talks all about this shit. This shit's been known for like fucking over decades now. Like imagine what they're not telling us what they can do and all with this shit. I'm telling you.
Oh, I believe it, bro. Like, let me go back.
Like they found a way to block it and shit with certain frequencies and shit.
No More Secrets.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out. I got it on my other
Dr.
tab.
Michael Persinger.
So like,
bookmark that.
What Crowley did was like he's like walking, right? He's explaining to this dude how magic works, right? And he's using the idea called action at a distance, right? So he's walking behind. They're both walking behind this other guy, and so Aleister starts emulating the guy's walk, the way he's moving, so the way he's moving his hands and stuff, right? Taking the steps exact same way behind this guy, right? And then Aleister just drops to one knee, right? And then the fucking guy falls. You know what I'm saying? And he was trying to express that that's how magic works, or action at a distance and shit, which is kind of like.
I was about to say how magic works. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I don't want to forget this shit.
Go ahead.
My bad. Okay, this is how I think magic works. You see how that, like, before you roll the dice, it's already in your mind thing?
Yeah.
So this is how magic works. It's kind of understanding that fact, that science. It's quantum physics in a way that now we're starting to understand it through the science and shit. So it's understanding that shit is in your mind before it happens, technically. So that means like everything is within your own mind. That means you probably somehow influence it, right? Like if it's already in your mind, what if you influence it before that happens or something, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like
So that's
fucking
magic, technically.
Kabbalion. Like the Kabbalion says, the first principle is
Quote
everything.
unquote magic because it defies what the norm is, like probability is 50-50 on a flip of a coin. Bull fucking shit. There's no 50-50s in life. I don't believe it, man.
The way I look at it is like there's only like one constant, you know what I'm saying? And if you can understand the constant itself, not what's going to happen, but the observer of the constant, then the observer can basically manipulate the constant, the trajectory of the path, just because they're the ones observing it. And it kind of goes like that question: if a tree falls in the forest and it doesn't make it, and nothing's there to hear it, does it make a noise, or maybe does it make a sound? It's like, well, by definition, if nothing's there to observe the sound, then there is no sound, because the sound has to be recorded. So it's like, what came first, the sound or the ear? When it's like, maybe they're the two of the same trajectories, beginning and ending and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You see, like, look, think about it like a dream. You see how in a dream there's a bunch of characters, but they're all you at the same time.
Yeah, because they're in your dream. Yeah.
That's pretty much life is like a complex dream in a way. There's only one consciousness. It's just the branches of different characters and pretty much like a kind of like that, right?
Yeah, it's like hey, listen, you know who Tool is, that the group Tool?
Cool.
Yeah, like a fucking
Uh,
alternative group, but they got like this album art. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. But it's kind of like saying the same thing you talking about. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Really? It's fucking trips you out if you really start thinking about this shit. You know what I mean? Most people don't want to think about that shit. Everyone's just involved in like whatever they're doing. Like all like they don't. No one wants to think about this shit really. I'm telling you, no one really wants to hear it. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna pull it up.
It's just easier to focus on like this fucking retarded. That's actually it's just easier to focus on this mindless bullshit. You know?
Hey, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
You see that? Is the picture showing? Hey, like, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
So like right there, it's kind of like what you're talking about, bro. Like so like the main face would be, I guess, the collective consciousness, right? The source consciousness. And then every face is looking in on another face and shit. And every face has eyes, and they're all universes and stuff, and all these spiral galaxies and shit. But you can see as it goes into the middle, it goes like the colors start to change to green, to all the way to white and shit. So maybe the faces aren't the infinite consciousness, but that center, that green or that white, way in the distance is the infinite consciousness. And it's like Alan Watts says, like, we are the universe that is constructed a way for it to perceive itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, the universe is investigating its own self and shit.
Yeah, remember that No More Secret thing I was telling you about with Dr. Michael Persinger? He's a neuroscientist in a university that's not that far from Toronto, and he passed away like a couple summers ago. But yeah, like he even invented a machine that uses electromagnetic fields to change like your frequency in your mind and like makes you more like powerful and shit with that. They call it the Shiva device, or the God helmet. You should search up No More Secrets on there. And there's another guy named Todd Murphy, and it's recorded. People are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to go learn this shit. The neuroscience, the serious fucking thing in the university.
I bet, bro. Like just like understanding of how the mind works and stuff. And it's like, so for me,
Right,
right?
nowadays, my bad. But nowadays, like, there's such a wealth of knowledge out there. You just have to weed through the bullshit and look at the legit stuff. You have to find the real stuff with actual statistics and backing, and you know, and statistics are kind of iffy too because they did discover a long time ago, which they get into detail in this shit, that there's something called the observer effect.
Yep.
So depending on who does the experiment, the outcome turns out different. It's very fucking strange because someone could do the experiment 100 times, and then another guy could do it 100 times, and the result would be completely different. But they'll always be consistent within the same person. They could do it 1,000 times and be the same. The other guy could do it 1,000 times and be the same. But the outcome will always be different between the two of them. So they started to have to do experiments where no one's looking at them, like when no one's actually there, just automated. So it just like presses a button without looking at it. It's fucking weird, man.
It's like that thing I think I heard is like the cat in the box, the dead cat, whatever. Is like is the cat in the box is alive or is it dead type shit and stuff. It's like, well, it has to be observed. It's like that's the thing, is like something has to be observed and shit, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, like I think in like quantum physics or whatever, they have the idea of that you can look at it. Once you look at an atom, it's right there in front of you. But if you look away, you look back, it will have moved. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of makes sense when we're talking about reality and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the atoms are always moving everywhere. Everywhere you're looking, the atoms are recombinating itself on some matrix type shit. You know what I'm saying? From green code with numbers and letters and shit to actual physical reality that's perceived and shit. And it's all perceived inside of our minds. You know, like, and I tell people in AA and shit, like, I'm like, look, what's a good day? What's a bad day? What really makes it that? You know what I'm saying? Like Alan Watts talks about, you know, he's like, if have you ever seen a misshaped cloud? Have you ever seen a wrongly positioned star or a constellation shaped the wrong way? It's like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, what are we talking about? What's good and what's bad? So like, let's say I'm about to walk into a door, right? Or walk into a store and the wind blows the door open, the door hits my fucking hand, knocks my phone out my hand, cracks my whole fucking brand new iPhone screen, right? And so is it the door that's bad? Is it the screen that's bad? Is it the wind that's bad and shit? You know what I'm saying? Now I'm pissed off at this fucking door for breaking my phone, right? Like this door like conspired against me 2 days ago to fucking set me up, right? Now the next day, right? I'm running down the street. I'm being chased by 3 fucking pit bulls. And the same door is right there. I run into the door, open it, close it, and the door saves me from the pit bulls. Now, is this same door that was conspiring against me yesterday here to help me and save my life and shit from the pit bulls? You know, I'm like, damn, door, we should hang out later on. Thanks for showing up. It's just a fucking door. So what has changed?
They're on the no more secret shit on the new share.
Was that? Okay, hold up. Yeah, so what has changed is my perception of the door. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And so, like, who's really creating good and bad? Is it reality or is it the observer of the reality?
I don't know. It's all about balance and shit. Cause it's a weird thing, man.
I don't know if it's gonna let me play this. I'm gonna try.
Like what they do with a Moloch, and they do a ritual called the cremation of care. You like burn like an effigy for it's kind of like a fucked up way to neutralize all the bullshit they do and get away with it in a way, and still dominate them like it's luck. If you want to call it luck.
I don't know if it's gonna work. Oh, here it goes. Can you hear it?
Well, first of all,
This shit running hella slow.
Thank you for attending tonight. This is going to be a slightly different.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Gosh,
All the
yeah,
information
fucking awesome.
of every human brain that's ever lived has the potential to be stored in the Earth's magnetic field with lots of energy left over. The Earth's magnetic field.
If you just pause it and let it
Occasions.
load for a minute.
In fact, the strength of the magnetic field induced in every brain, right now you're being induced, put it this way, you are immersed in the Earth's magnetic field through your body.
All right.
And in fact, the strength of the magnetic field induced in every brain by the Earth.
Hey, you like a?
Yeah, I know.
What I will do though is I'm gonna watch it and then I'm gonna upload it on my thing shit.
Bro, in 2 seconds you already hear the man talk about how your Earth, how your brain's magnetic field, the Earth's magnetic field is all connected with everything. It's like all millions of mind connections.
You know who Bro Sanchez is?
Well, what?
Bro Sanchez, he's a YouTuber. He's got like a pretty decent following. He's like a flat earther, right? But he talks about this shit, the torus field and the magnetic field, and he's really good at corresponding it on many different levels, which he calls sacred geometry and stuff. But like, I agree too, like northern poles or the nodes or the polarities and shit, and how that shit like is working everywhere. Like you can look at a fucking apple and see that same diagram represented in the apple's whole fucking makeup and shit. You know what I'm saying? You can cut the apple in half or cross section it horizontally and shit, and you can see or vertically, you can see that same fucking torus field emanating.
Basically, like every thought, like how you're talking right now, it's all everyone listening to this, everyone right in the world right now. They're giving off an energy that's detectable from their fucking brain, and that's pretty much wired up to the Earth's magnetic field. It's like a lot of species are like this. He gets into this shit. Like birds are like that. Like, a lot of species are like that. Like fucking look at dolphins and shit, how they use fucking sonar, shit like that.
Oh yeah, most definitely, bro. And like, and so like on some biblical shit, God made image in their image and their likeness and shit. And to correspond with like what we're talking about right now, I would say that'd be a valuable assumption and shit. Like if the Earth has a torus field, whether we know what it looks like the Earth and so it doesn't really matter and shit. But what the effects, the cause and effects that are happening, if we can find that happening within ourselves and shit, then we find that link. And like, let's say that these global elitists or these people in these secret societies that are like super, enlightened or whatever, that they understand these workings and shit. You know what I'm saying? By definition, I'll say it like this: if the world if the world itself knows more about how it's supposed to operate than we do, then the world's gonna always have the trump over us. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't understand our own operations, because we're in the world. We come from the same stuff the world is made of and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like maybe the goal isn't to understand, how to get money or this and that, how to influence people and shit, but understand the world we live in and the world that we are and the world that lives inside of us, like the macro to micro type shit, that cosmogony shit.
Real shit.
Hey, bro, but look, I gotta bounce this shit, man. I'm gonna hop on other brothers live streams and shit, but I'm gonna check that video out, dog. And I don't know if you've seen in my videos and shit, but like I be talking about a lot of shit we talking about, on some other little videos out of my little blogs and shit. I just started doing this live stream shit, so I'm still learning and stuff. This is my first time even screen sharing, but I'm gonna check out this video tonight with Michael Pressinger. That shit sounds hella dope. And then
I had to cut too. Either way, yeah, check that out, man.
Was that?
You gotta check that out.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Definitely. I'm gonna try to like fucking edit it and shit too, so I can like, because it's like 54 minutes long and shit. So I come back on about the same type of topic and you jump on, hit the notification button too, so you can hit me up or see when I'm on going live and shit, and we can talk about certain parts of that video and shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna subscribe.
For sure, bro. All right, bro.
man,
Hey,
take it easy.
it was good dealing with you. You too, bro. Be safe. Hey, peace, everybody in the chat. Reagan, love you, baby. Spirit Light
Man,
Body,
everyone.
you too, bro. Kurt Washington, peace. K Smith, peace. I'm out.